What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to go over the brand new login champion, the Loki the Deceiver. He is part of the loyalty program and is active right now for everybody to pick up. We're going to go through his kit, build, strengths, and weaknesses through the eyes of a brand new player in Raid, or at least one that is very, very new to the game of Raid. But first, I want to give a quick shout to a link in my description below. It's for brand new raid activations. You will be getting access to a free epic champion after completing the tutorial, and that epic champion will be from the Skinwalkers. Fayne here, Fayne, the little mouse. She's actually really strong. She brings the poisons, decreased attack, very good against bosses, for example, reduce incoming damage. Also going to bring you decreased defense and weaken, which makes the bosses or enemies squishier and easier to kill. She's a great champion. She hits pretty hard, good damage dealer overall. Of course, she's an epic champion. She'll be free after the tutorial. And with the link and with a brand new activation, you'll also be getting at level 25 another epic champion, Rector Drath. So she is more of a support champion. She brings healing. Again, decreased attack. She brings a revive as well. So having a revive on our team is obviously very good. You can help you pick up your teammate that's down. And then she brings Veil and healing, which further protects your teammates. Very good support champion. Definitely can help you carry through some harder content as well. So those two champions will be up for grabs from the link in the description below. Make sure you guys check that out. It's only for brand new activations, guys. So make sure you guys got that going. All right, so how do we pick up Loki the Deceiver here? Like I said, he's going to be free for everybody. He's going to come from the Loki Chase, which is active right now as of the 21st of August. You're going to jump in here. You can pick him up after 7 days of continuously logging into the game. So every 24 hours you log into the game, you're going to pick him up after 7 days. But I highly recommend you guys stick around and make sure you guys pick up his day 14. This blessing will give him lots of stats. Also, you get some goodies along the way. And then there's a phase 2. Phase 2 requires you to do a little bit more in the game. But if you guys can make it to day, basically roughly 28, you can pick up his 5-star blessing. And this is going to give him massive stat boost. And it's going to really help out a brand new player or a mid-game player. And obviously some of these big rarity accessories are very nice for him. And then of course you get some goodies along the way as well. So this program active August 21st. The last day to get in on Loki is actually October 24th. And the program will end on November 22nd. So some key dates for you guys to remember, just in case you guys are falling behind reviewing this video in the future. But that's going to be the Loki Chase, currently active right now. All right, so let's quickly talk about Loki as a champion real quick and what you guys are actually getting. So from the Barbarian faction here, we see all the Asgardian champions that are brand new right now. There is an Asgardian event. It's called the Asgardian Divide. It has many of these legendary heroes here like Freya, Thor will be in the game. Odin's in the game right now. And then, of course, Loki, the part of the Barbarian faction. So those will have many events going on right now and in the future coming weeks for you guys to check out, of course, for those champions. But here's Loki. You kind of see his base stats here at full 60. Yeah, decent base stats all around. He's a good champion in terms of his stats. He looks great, of course. His A1 is an AoE, which is always good against, obviously wave-based content. It increases durations of enemy buffs, debuffs. So that means, like, if the enemy has something like a poison, for example, you don't want the poison to fall off. This will increase the turn count on the poisons, which makes the poisons last longer and then you do more damage. For example, that's a pretty good A1. His attack 2 is A2. The 4 turn down to 3 turn, which is a very reasonable effect. It places block active skills and block buffs, which are both really good at basically shutting down an enemy. And then if he is under Veil, he spreads those debuffs or spread random debuffs all to the enemy team. Very decent, like support ability can definitely get a lot of value from that. Like, for example, poisons or other debuffs like HP burn. Or other strong debuffs like decreased defense. You can just weaken all the enemy team, which is very good. His A3 here, he has a chance to steal one champion's all their buffs and then steal their turn meter. So turn meter is like how much, basically how close they are to taking a turn. If you're taking 100% of their turn meter, basically they're not going to take a turn for a while. They're going to lose their turn. And then if the turn meter is not stolen, then you're going to fill your team's turn meter by 15%, which means your team goes faster. Also brings increased attack, which is good for your team, especially in the beginning as a starter. So your team deals more damage. So it's not bad. Passive, he starts off with the Veil, and then he gets another Veil when he goes below 50% health. And he has this new effect called Evade, which allows him basically to just dodge all damage and effects. Very, very cool and kind of fitting with his idea, right? His theme. So very, very cool. That's Loki in a nutshell. All right, let's talk about how you would build a Loki as a brand new player, or maybe like a 1 month player. Let's say you played Loki, you got the 5-star blessing on him. Let's show my Loki here. So this is my Loki. I'm assuming that you guys are basically like super new in the game, but this is my Loki. I basically just use gear I forged from the forge. You're not going to get a lot of this gear. It's called perception gear. You get it from the forge. You get the material from doing faction wars, but you will get a couple pieces, or at least the materials to build some pieces in the beginning. Make sure you save those pieces. Don't throw them away. This is a speed set I basically farmed from campaign. You can kind of see the gear here using 3-star and 4-star. I definitely don't recommend making these pieces of gear up to 16. Obviously, it costs a lot of silver, but the boots are good value. So the boots are good value. Make sure you have speed boots. That's going to be the key here. Make sure you have some speed boots on all your champions. The rest of the stats for Loki are basically just keeping him alive, like HP, giving him accuracy so he can land all his stuff, so he can steal stuff, he can extend the debuffs. So yeah, accuracy is very important. In terms of how much accuracy you need, if you're tackling a dungeon, you need roughly 10 accuracy per dungeon level. So if you're doing dungeon level 10, you need about 100 accuracy. That's kind of important. I have extra accuracy, obviously, because I have the 5-star blessing, and I have some additional bonuses from, for example, my Great Hall, which gives me 80 extra accuracy here, and my faction guards, which gives me an extra 30. So you can basically, as a brand new player, you can take away 110 accuracy, which gives me about 230 accuracy here. But yeah, like I said, the blessing gives tons of stats, so make sure you guys fill all the requirements to get the 5-star blessing for Loki. But you can see here, most of the gear, I'm just focusing on speed stats. So any kind of, when you roll up these pieces, any kind of hits into speed or additional speed here is good enough for me to use. Any extra accuracy is good as well. So you kind of see the pieces here, a little bit of speed. Speed set gives you obviously, extra plus speed here, and I got perception, which gives me plus speed and accuracy. Both you want on Loki. Obviously, sets are good, but they're not the main focus. If you can hit these kind of stats without hitting sets, it's very, very good and recommended to do so. I'm going to assume that you have no accessories on your champion, because a spider dungeon is pretty hard to do. Masteries, I didn't fill out any masteries here just to represent more so a new player. The problem is my Loki is fully booked. Unfortunately, I cannot unbook him for this video, but he does come with 10 books. I would expect you guys to not have him booked early on, just because books are a little bit harder to come by. As for the blessing, I would recommend probably Cruelty. Cruelty works really well with his A1, which gives him some additional value on his A1. His A1 is an AoE. Cruelty will decrease the defense of the enemy. So every time you use his A1, you're actually making your team hit the enemy harder, right? By applying the reduction in their defense. So that's kind of how it works. I think it's a decent blessing, especially starting off. The other option for blessing would be Brimstone. Brimstone is actually really good against bosses, and since Loki has accuracy to place Brimstone, this will get placed, and then you can do lots of damage against bosses if you want Loki to be a damage dealer. Just a couple options for you guys, but you can see here the gear, the stats. I got about 200 speed. You can go a little bit less. At least 150 I would recommend to start off, and I would definitely recommend speed boots, like I said here, if you guys can swing it. So I think like this is probably how you would typically build a brand new support champion that requires accuracy for debuffs. Loki is no exception here. Just make them fast, as much survivability as possible, and then some accuracy so that they can place whatever they need to place. Loki has good stats, so scaling off his build is very easily done. So just make sure you have any HP percentage or defense percentage stats, like for example this 19% defense percentage on the gloves. These make his stats scale up a lot easier. and it's better for champions with higher base stats. If you wanted to go down the mastery tree for him, pick up his masteries, I would recommend probably going down the support masteries. You can definitely pick up something like Master Hexer, which extends his debuffs. That's his block buff ability. And you can pick up Lasting Gifts to make his increased attack last longer as well. After that, I would probably go down the defense tree to make him a little bit more sturdy. But that's about it. You can definitely cater him to whatever you're using him for, whatever content you're using him for, of course. So let's jump into Dungeon and see what he can do and try to represent what a brand new-ish player would probably encounter. Alright guys, so I'm in stage 12 right now doing Dragon. Dragon is the early stage dungeon that I definitely recommend everyone to spend more time in, especially starting out in this game. Dragon is generally considered one of the easier dungeons and more flexible dungeons for early game players because you can kind of throw whatever you got into this dungeon. And you generally do okay. After you start progressing in dungeon, you start farming the gear from dungeon and then gearing out your champions a little bit better. So that's kind of like the early game progress of what you're supposed to do. We have here Deacon Armstrong, which is a really good starter champion. Not really a starter champion, but you can get him from previous promo codes. He does come with the AoE decreased defense and leash and then the speed aura. So he's kind of like a speedy champion. And then you have Fayne here. We did discuss he's the damage dealer with the poisons. Rector Drath is support with the revive and healing. We have Apothecary here, which is a rare, but one of the best rares around. He brings speed and healing as well. And then we have Loki here to help support the team as well. So let's see what this group can do. I think it's a decent setup for this group. So we open with the Deacon Armstrong here. I'll show you guys the stats and builds right afterwards. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, we're on stage 2 right now. The Loki has the AoE, which is really, really nice. Speed up, so now we have increased speed on our team, which is really, really good as well. You can kind of see here that we're just, laying down the smack on these mobs. We can probably do a little bit higher difficulty. Let's crank it up a little bit here, and we'll look for something a little bit higher difficult. Let's do, how about we do stage 17. 17 is, one of the first stages where we start creeping up into the higher energy spends for early games. So this one costs 16, for example. So we can do level 17. It's going to be blue affinity, so the blue color, which is strong against green color. So we actually have a pretty green team. It's going to be a little bit difficult, perhaps, to get through some of this stuff. So let's see what we can do here. So Loki's places block buffs and then block active skills, and then he also places the spread. So the spread is actually really nice. So we can definitely target a champion with maybe this one with decreased defense and decreased attack, and then we can do the spread here. Let's see what happens. All right, wow, there you go. The whole enemy team got some debuffs. So that's pretty cool. Cool, like little support trick from Loki there. Got Fayne here with the single target damage dealer here. Let's lay the smackdown on this guy. We drop some poisons there. Carrying on. And Rector Draft supporting a little bit. And then we're back to Loki here. Loki has a chance to steal turn meter or increase attack. So I think here we're going to increase our attack so our champions can hit a little bit harder. And then there we go. We got increased attack. Very nice. Apothecary comes in here with a little hit. And then Loki, now that after he used up all his skills, he's just going to use his A1. But his A1, since it has cruelty, will reduce the defense of all the enemies so that our team can hit a little bit harder. You can see there, decreased defense was applied. Then we'll hit again with Fayne, this time to apply the decreased defense and weaken. Multi-hit here. Some decent damage there as well. We'll seal turn meter, increase R's, decrease defense again. So in the beginning, it's going to take you guys a little bit longer until you guys start getting more optimized gear and so forth. But I'm not going to run through this entire run here. But this is kind of how it goes in the early game. You try to slog through every stage, and then eventually you start getting more champions, better gear, and then things will get a lot faster for you guys. Alright guys, so how will Loki fare in Arena? So obviously the competition that I'm facing here is extremely strong. I won't be able to probably do very well, but we can at least showcase some of his abilities in this matchup. So let's see what we can do here. Slow it down here. Well, actually, we'll increase the speed here. But he's going to go first. Wukong's going to steal all their buffs, so let's steal some of their buffs. Okay, great. what can we do here? So decrease defense from Deacon Armstrong. So we'll do that. And then Loki can come in here and actually spread the decreased defense if we needed to, but it doesn't look like we need to do any kind of decreased defense spreading since all of them have this little shield break icon, so we don't need to do that. So let's increase our turn meter and increase attack so that our damage dealing Sun Wukong can deal more damage. So let's do that. So Sun Wukong, you see there got the swords. That means it's increased, got the increased attack. We'll use Apothecary here to increase speed. And then we got Sun Wukong here. He's ready to unload his cannon. And boom, there we go. And then we can do our AoE here. And we can go after the Rotos with the A1s. And there we go. We actually destroyed this team's health pretty good. Obviously, my Sun Wukong is not going to be a brand new player's champion. It's not going to be geared in a way that is brand new, but you know, he had 3 support champions with him and he was able to get through this team. So right now this event dungeon featuring Odin is actually really cool. It's kind of an exclusive dungeon that has this limited set. It's called Pinpoint set. It's actually really solid. It's kind of like the Perception set, which is really, really good. And even if you get any pieces of this Pinpoint set, it's actually really good because it comes with extra stats right away. So definitely worthwhile using and doing this dungeon if you can get a good team going for it. Like I said before, this is part of a big like Asgard Divide, Asgard themed event that's spanning I think maybe 2.5 months. So there's going to be like Loki, Thor, Freya, and Odin. They're all in the game right now, and there's various events where you guys can pick them up if you guys so choose. I wouldn't be completely opposed to like new players picking up some of these gear pieces as well. So this dungeon might actually work out for newer players. So if you get tired of maybe farming dragon, you might want to take your take some energy and put it into this dungeon. You do get the accuracy set, crit rate set, and crit damage set, which are actually pretty good sets even for a newer player. And then pinpoint set is actually really, really good if you get any of those. Curing in days, less used, and harder to piece together since they're 4-piece sets. But the other sets are definitely viable for brand new players and new accounts. So, okay, so I think I'm just going to stick to the same team that we've been using the whole time, considering you're brand new. You're not going to have too much selection on champions, so this is what we're going to use. So, Loki's actually really good against Odin. His skill kit is actually, it works really well because he does bring the block buffs, and you want to stop Odin from placing his block damage on himself. You have decreased defense here from Deacon against his mobs. And then you have some additional damage from the Fayne, and then obviously some turn meter stuff with the Apothecary. Maybe if you had another damage dealer, you can sub out the maybe you can sub out Rector Drath for another damage dealer perhaps. And then we're going to keep Apothecary here because Rector Drath I feel is going to be a little bit slow against this team. So let's try to speed up by adding another damage dealer here with Geomancer. He might not be the best, but he might be somebody that you have, and he's actually a really good champion. So we're going to go decrease defense here. So now decreased defense is applied. Loki can now spread the decreased defense to everybody. You can kind of see here his whole, all the enemies don't have decreased defense. So Loki is going to apply his block buffs and then spread those debuffs to everybody. Here, Odin, now everybody has block buffs and decreased defense. So it looks like one of their enemies actually resisted the block buffs, which is kind of unfortunate, but there is always a chance to resist those debuffs from happening. The Geomancer here places an HP burn, just damage. And then we have Fayne here to apply some poisons and decrease attacks so Odin doesn't hit as hard, for example. So Odin's going to stun us and place decreased defense on us himself. But we're going to keep chipping away at him a little bit here. Hopefully we don't get totally killed by his friends there. Now we're back to Fayne, so she's the damage dealer. Let's see if she can do some damage again. Odin looking pretty good. We got Deacon again. Let's do some more damage to the whole team. Oh, Odin with the big slam there. What else? Let's see Loki steal some buffs. So now we can steal some buffs from this Mark character. So let's see if we can steal her buffs. And we stole her buffs. Super nice. We also got increased attack on our whole team. And then Loki gets a turn. So let's go Loki AoE. Nice damage there. And then we can heal if we want. But let's just keep putting the damage into Odin, and Fayne gets the killing blow against Odin. We do pick up a crit damage set, headpiece. Not too bad, right? If you can get 2 pieces of this, you get an extra 20 crit damage. So not too bad. So that's stage 11 with this team. I'll show you guys the stats and gear of every champion that I used at the end of the video, just so you guys know that I'm not doing any funny business with the stats and gear and all that stuff. But keep in mind that my account has a lot of stats, so I am removing gear and making sure that the stats are not too crazy and definitely more accessible to like normal players, right? Okay, so let's do clan boss. Clan boss is probably the last thing that a new player needs to focus on, or at least this is the best way to progress your account. You get a bunch of cool stuff here. Basically, like you get some, let's see here, you get some gems, you get some resources, some gear. Cruel set is a great set, and it only costs 2 pieces to make the set. So if you can get it, that's a really good, good set to have. You can see here, you can get a whole bunch of stuff: potions, shards, gems, and obviously gear. I think with our team, we can probably do hard difficulty. So I'll show you guys what it looks like to do some of this content with just the champions that we had earlier. So let's start with Deacon again. Let's go Fayne, Loki. Let's go Apothecary, and let's go with Rector Drath. So we got decreased defense here from Deacon, but he's kind of here for the leech, which helps us heal up. He's also here for the turn meter boost, which speeds up our team. Fayne is our main damage dealer. She brings poison, big hits, decrease attack, and weaken. Loki's kind of here just for increased attack. He also brings the A1 AoE, which can help decrease the defense of the boss, for example. He also places block buff and steal buffs, so he can steal the increased attack or block it from the Demon Lord, which can keep your team alive. Rector's here for the heals, of course, and then Apothecary is here for the heals and speed up. So let's see what we can do here. For example, Deacon's going to lower the defense. That's great. All right. So, whoops. I clicked something accidentally. I'm going to go increase speed. And then Fayne's going to come in here with the poisons. All right. And then we're going to place Leech. There's Leech. And then what are we going to heal up? Veil synergizes very well with Loki, by the way. Just means full uptime on his special conditions here. We don't need to place any spread, but we will place the block buffs here so the Demon Lord won't get increased attack placed on him. So that. Yep, there's the block buffs. So now we're protected from his shenanigans. And then we're going to go with Fayne for our damage. And then we'll basically just full auto this at this point. We can kind of just let this run through. And yeah, we'll watch this for a minute or so, and then I can try to shut her down, and then we can check it out at the final score screen. It's kind of cool to see this because I haven't, used a team like this on such low difficulty for a long time. You can kind of see here that block buff is being applied. We're not going to get hit with like attack or anything like that. And you can kind of see the duration of all the debuffs are being extended by Loki's A1, which is really nice, and the 5-star cruelty blessing is reducing the defense from the clan boss, which is also very nice. All right, so let's see it go for like a minute or so, and then we'll come back to it at the score screen. Everything looks good, very safe so far. Good, Loki's in there. All right, block buff's still there, so yeah, definitely no increased attack. Gonna make our team survive a lot longer. Everything looks good. We'll be back at the score screen, and then we can evaluate further there. All right, so we're nearing turn 25 here. This is kind of when the clan boss starts hitting a little bit hard. You can kind of see like his big sweeps here are starting to take out our champions. We do have a reviver here with Rector Drath, so she's very, very good. Gives you another chance at some more damage. But we can probably see that this run is probably ending pretty soon. So overall, I feel like this team is probably like a 2-month team. There's 460s on this team. There's a 50. Obviously, Loki is not the best in clan boss, but he does provide some support. He does have cruelty on his blessing, which does help a little bit make your team deal a little bit more damage, for example. We can see here on hard difficulty, we are nearing the top chest damage. So that's going to maximize your odds at getting the best loot, at least in the beginning. So I would say this is probably like a 2-month-old team. It will probably with like regular play or sub-regular play. And you can kind of see here the clan boss is hitting super hard now, so the run should end relatively soon. Eventually, the clan boss will probably just destroy the entire team with like one hit, so there's no chance to recover. But we are nearing turn 30, which is quite decent for this team that's not really optimized and kind of just thrown together here. And that's kind of what it's like as a brand new player. You're just using whatever you had at the beginning, and trying to do the best you can with it, basically. So here we're just trying to dish out as much damage as possible. You can see our guys are dropping pretty quick here. There is decreased attack on the clan boss, and the clan boss is still kind of wiping us out. So we don't have increased defense. Increased defense would help. So if you pick up a champion with defense, that might be good to add. But there he goes. Champions are starting to drop now. Our main damage dealer, Fayne, still pumping out the damage when she gets picked up, but we're definitely gonna start losing some people here. There goes Rector Drath, and that's our backup plan. So right now it's gonna be dish out the damage, and then that's it. No more restarts. We're getting pretty close to that 1 key. Can we do it? Can Deacon carry? Can the poisons last? Ooh, we got a little bit more damage. Poisons are really good against clan boss in the beginning. Lots of damage. Do we got one more hit? Nope. It's down to Loki. It's all Loki now. Still. Oh, the misstep. Did you see that? Boom. Did you see that? The evade. Got one more hit in just before the end. So 19.5 million damage on hard difficulty. Fayne doing most of the damage, obviously, from poisons and all that stuff. Deacon Armstrong coming in with the 4 million damage from War Master, from the Mastery. Rector Draft, probably the same. Let's have a quick look at the gear, and then we'll call it quits. All right, so once again, here's our Loki Super Beginners build here. Stats, I'm going to aim for 200 speed with about 200 accuracy, and then all the rest will go into everything else. Sets are not important. Masteries, I didn't really add on him. You can definitely take, like I said, the support tree and the defense tree for maximum support. Here's our Deacon Armstrong. Like I said, I had to remove pieces of gear to make him more stat viable for a newer player. But 214 speed with about 200 accuracy. Again, similar to Loki. He works well. He does have masteries on, not fully complete, down to War Master. War Master is the best early game boss mastery to deal additional damage, so make sure you guys do that. Here's our Rector Draft. She doesn't have a full set with a bunch of broken pieces all around. But again, I'm going to aim for 200 speed. She does benefit off accuracy because she has decreased attack, but I couldn't fit it into her build, and I don't expect everybody to fit every single stat into their build in the early game. She is fully booked though, which may or may not happen for early game players. If you have a blessing on her, Nourish is pretty decent with the continuous heals. Mastery, I do have her with War Master. You don't necessarily need her in War Master. You can definitely have her in defense and support to keep her alive a little bit longer. But War Master, like I said, versus bosses, deals quite a bit of damage, especially in the early game. Lastly, we have, second last, we have Fayne here. Fayne does have a Cruel set that I picked up. And her total stats here, she's a little bit slower. She has good crit damage, but she's not crit capped. Not 100% crit, which I don't expect everybody to have. Accuracy around 200, and she's kind of squishy out of the box, but she does pretty good damage. Poisons are great. Decreased defense and weaken are great. Cruelty, if you have a blessing on her, is pretty good. You can also try other things like Phantom Touch, gives you a little bit more damage as well. Masteries, I do have masteries on her. Definitely aim to get masteries on some of your champions, just so they can do more damage against the clan boss mainly. Here's my Apothecary. Just speed on him. He's pretty squishy here as a 50. Fully booked, easy to book, no masteries. Geomancer, we did use him. Just basically make some speed and then make some accuracy here. So that's going to be it for the showcase on the Loki, basically early game experience. Like I said, guys, check out the description below. If you guys are brand new to Raid, make sure you guys use the link in the description below to pick up Fayne and Rector Draft along the way with Loki. Make sure you guys complete the 28-day loyalty program for Loki. And make sure you guys check out the Asgard events that's going to be happening for the next month and a half. See what interests you, and hopefully you guys can find some progress and fun in this game of Raid. But that's going to be it for this early game showcase for Loki. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Let me know in the comments below. As always, appreciate your time for watching the video. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.